Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. Welcome to Monday. Yeah, I hope everybody had a good Easter holiday, and if you traveled safely. If you didn't travel, hopefully that was safe too. Anyway, so what a weekend. So new changes over the weekend. Tampa Bay, Montreal, Buffalo all secured their playoff spots. Florida was eliminated. So we have our playoff watch will just start in the East because that's where that's top of the list here for ESPN. So the top three in the Atlantic Division all have secured their spots. Not necessarily going to be divisional spots, but we'll see. Tampa Bay 102, Buffalo and Montreal at 100, and behind them is Boston with 95 points, and they have 4 games remaining, so their max is 103. So Tampa Bay is close to securing a divisional spot. Behind Boston is Ottawa at 90. They've got 5 games left. Their max is 100. They do have the regulation win advantage over Montreal. So they potentially, I guess, could, if Montreal doesn't win another game, overtake Montreal, but probably not. So the top 3 in the Atlantic is going to be is going to be 3 of Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Montreal, and Boston, with most likely Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Montreal, a 5-point lead over Boston. Boston, 4 games left to go. Doesn't look like it would, it's not impossible for Montreal just to collapse, but it wouldn't really expect that. And just taking a quick look, they are playing Florida, Tampa Bay, Columbus, New York, Islanders, and Philadelphia. Not the easiest schedule, but not the hardest. And they're not playing Boston. So it would be more interesting if Boston were playing one of those teams. Let's just take a quick look at Boston's schedule. And they are playing Carolina. They are playing Tampa Bay. Carolina, Tampa Bay, Columbus, and New Jersey. So I think they play tomorrow and then Saturday. I guess they play Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday's game versus Tampa Bay would be critical if it was happening earlier, but by then I think it's going to be moot. So, so I think we're going to wind up with Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and Montreal at the top of the Atlantic. In the Metropolitan, we've got Carolina has secured their spot, 104 points, 8 points over Pittsburgh. So 8 points over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has 4 games to play. So you pretty much say the top of the Metropolitan is going to be Carolina. Pittsburgh at 96 points is 6 points ahead of Philadelphia. Philadelphia, 5 games left, so most likely Pittsburgh's going to wind up in the second position. The third position still up for grabs: Philadelphia, New York, Islanders, Columbus, Washington on the outside. 90, 89, 88, 87 points, alternating 5-4 games left. So the Caps at the bottom with 4 games left, 95 being their max. The Philadelphia Islanders, Columbus, Washington matchups could be real interesting. The Devils down here at 83 points and 5 games to go, 93 being their max. Probably not going to factor, probably factor, but not going to be part of that discussion. Quick look at the wild card in the East. Boston is in the first wild card spot with 95 points. Ottawa second with 90. And that 5-point lead. Ottawa does have 5 games left. So Boston is most likely going to secure one of the wild card spots. Again, with Ottawa being at 90 points, there are several teams within a couple of points, all the way down to Washington again. So Islanders, the Red Wings, Blue Jackets, and Caps all competing with Ottawa for that last spot. So a lot to play for again. The Devils, really, they are 7 points out, 5 games to go, and they've got 4 teams between them. So, it's possible, but unlikely for the Devils to get a spot unless they win all of their 5 remaining games. And just for fun, let's take a quick look at their schedule and see how reasonable that would be. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Ottawa, and Boston. Oh, they finished with Boston. But, it doesn't look terrible. Doesn't look terrible. But if they lose one of those games, it's, forget about it. They're done. Stick a fork in them. Stick a fork in the Devils. So anyway, still a lot to play for in a few spots over in the East. But who cares about the East? We play in the West. The West. All right, so let's. So the Central Division, just for grins here, although we don't really get a lot of credit for it. Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota up at the top of the division or league, been there for the whole time. Colorado leading the league all season long. Dallas in a tie for third at 102. They haven't really been playing that well lately. 3-5-2 in their last. Minnesota at 100 points. So those divisional spots, Colorado only needs one more win to lock up the division. 2 wins and they win the President's Trophy. They finish the season at St. Louis versus Calgary versus Vegas, then at Edmonton in a back-to-back at Calgary. And then they play Seattle. So Calgary, they play Calgary twice at home and away. Colorado, another team that hasn't, I guess 6-3-1. They had a little bit of a bad stretch, and they just lost to St. Louis, who they're playing again. Let's see, they just lost to St. Louis, and they just lost at St. Oh, they just had a back-to-back. Yeah, the Blues. Yeah, they just lost at home to the Blues, and now they're playing the Blues again. I would not expect them to lose to the Blues twice in a row. They lost at home 3-2, and then they play tomorrow at St. Louis, and then travel Thursday to Calgary. So I would expect by the weekend, Colorado will have locked up the top of the Central Division and the President's Trophy. Dallas and Minnesota, 2 points apart. Dallas, the team not playing very well of late, 3-5-2 in their last 10. Minnesota, Dallas do play each other coming up here. Dallas's remaining schedule has home games, Calgary, Minnesota, Rangers, and then they finish with 2 on the road, Toronto and Buffalo. Minnesota being a team that they're competing for the second playoff position. Toronto, Rangers, and Calgary have all been eliminated, and they finished the season at Buffalo. Buffalo competing for what are they competing for? Buffalo competing for the top of the Atlantic by the end. Who knows? By the Buffalo game, I think that second divisional spot will be determined. Minnesota 2 points behind, lacking the first tiebreaker. Dallas has more regulation wins. They play home versus Seattle, then at Dallas, then at Nashville, at St. Louis, and then finish the season at home versus Anaheim. Again, the teams, all those teams are fighting for playoff spots. I mean, maybe not by the time they get to St. Louis, but right now, the teams are, and then they've got that game against Dallas. I really should have noted when that game was going to be played, because that would be really handy. Because when is that game? That game is Thursday. The Thursday is the Dallas-Minnesota game at the end of their season. I think Minnesota's had the advantage in that. But either way, I mean, those are going to be the 2 and 3 seeds, and they're going to meet each other in the playoffs. So, kind of a playoff preview coming up here. Who knows if they're going to show all their cards or not, but I think both teams would prefer to have home ice advantage. Looking at their home records, both of them have good home and away records. That's what you expect for two teams that are at the top of the league. Anyway, so that's the top of the Central Division. At the top of the Pacific, 3 teams, Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas. It's been the 3 for a while. The Kings, who the Preds are playing tonight, 5 points behind Vegas. Went through my whole diatribe the other day about how I was uncertain about how I felt about it, but I do think that the Preds needed the win more than the Kings. I'm starting to doubt the Kings' ability to pull up into a playoff spot, into a divisional spot, that is. Edmonton, Anaheim, and Vegas all have 5 games left. The Kings and San Jose, that's as far back as I consider being potentially able to get in, because the Kings and the Sharks, the Kraken at 75 points, 7 games remaining, could get to 89 points, but Vegas is at 86, so that only gives a 3-point wiggle, and I think that's just too much to expect for the Kraken to be able to pull up into a divisional spot. Edmonton is playing Utah, San Jose, the Kings, Colorado, and Vancouver to finish out. Utah, San Jose, Kings, Colorado, Vancouver to finish out their season. Anaheim has Nashville, San Jose, Vancouver, Minnesota, and Nashville. Yep, that's right, 2 games against Nashville. The first game will be tomorrow night. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, 2 games between Anaheim and Nashville. Critical games for both teams. So going to be very, very interested in that. Vegas finishes the season with Vancouver, Seattle, Colorado, Winnipeg, and Seattle. Nobody that they're competing for with regards to the divisional spots, and only an issue if they fall into down into the wild card race, which isn't looking terribly likely, unfortunately, at this point. The Kings, 6 games left: Nashville, Vancouver, Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary. So 3 games against teams that are out of the playoffs, but teams that would love to beat the Kings. The Seattle-Vancouver games are back-to-back. So even if you said those 3 games, 6 points there, that's 87 points, and then another potential 6, that 5-point gap for the Kings to overtake Vegas is looking unlikely. Vegas doesn't have an easy game to finish the season, twice playing Seattle, playing Winnipeg, Colorado. Well, Vancouver, I missed that. Vancouver is out of the playoffs. So, but at Vancouver, Vegas at Vancouver. So yeah, I think as far as the divisional spots go, it's Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas. But how that shakes out is is uncertain. And just scanning back through here, none of these teams are playing each other. Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas, they're not playing each other, which is unfortunate. But that's how the schedule is. Edmonton playing, they are playing Vancouver, Kings, San Jose. So 3 of their last 5 games are against Pacific teams, 2 are against Central. Anaheim playing 3 Central, 2 Pacific. Vegas playing, twice Seattle, same sort of thing. 3 Pacific, 2 Central seems to be the scheme here. And then San Jose's schedule, wrap up the divisional spot by talking about them. They're playing Chicago, Edmonton, and then versus Edmonton, then at Anaheim. Those are back-to-back. Then Vancouver, Nashville, Chicago, and a back-to-back with Winnipeg. So they're at Chicago, then at Winnipeg to finish out the season. I think by that time their season will have been finished as well. Unfortunate, everybody in the league, all the media wants Celebrini in the playoffs. They want Celebrini. It was just disgusting. I got so tired of listening. Even one of the podcasts that I sometimes listen to, just to kind of keep my bearings on some things. All hot on Celebrini. Everybody wants Celebrini in the playoffs. Of course, everybody wants Kopitar to get another shot. But the one podcast, boy, they spent more time talking about Boston than they did the entire Western Conference in their discussion of the upcoming playoffs. So, that's the Pacific divisions. Yeah, I kind of think it's Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas at this point. And it's kind of uncertain as to how that order is going to shake out. Again, they're not playing each other, so they could all win out or all lose out. And then taking a look, usually cover the wild card and the Western for each of the teams, but since, that's kind of what we're looking at these days, I'm just going to cover the wild card. And at this point, we still have to say that 7 teams are still competing for 2 spots. All the way down to Seattle, Calgary not. Calgary's not. They're 9 points out. They've got 6 games left. I don't really see Seattle necessarily being competitive there either. But just for grins, I went ahead and did the analysis for all of those teams. And I don't know, kind of feels like Utah, their 5-point lead over Nashville and the Kings is going to be sufficient. They're 6-4 in their last 10, so they have at least decent momentum. They are playing Nashville, Winnipeg, and St. Louis, teams they're competing against. And on top of that, they get to play Edmonton and Carolina. And Carolina probably soon enough that they're not going to be, skating into the playoffs. And then they play Calgary, which has been eliminated. So their schedule isn't the easiest. It doesn't, it's not impossible to see that they could break down and possibly, so just for the Predators 6 games left, 12, so they have 93 points as their max. So in the lower 90s is going to be the second wildcard spot. 93, Utah would have to get, so if they got 7 points, that's still three wins. 3 wins and overtime loss, and they've got 6 games left. Is it possible they don't get 3 wins? It's possible. It's possible they could only win 2 out of these 4. They could lose to Edmonton and Carolina. They could lose to Edmonton, Carolina, lose to Nashville. I guess it's still possible. It's still possible. Unlikely that they would fall out of the playoffs. Unlikely they'd fall out of the playoffs, but they could fall out of that first playoff spot. You'll see how that goes. This is kind of an exciting component to that race. Then you've got Nashville, the Kings at 81 points, San Jose at 79, but they've got a game in hand, and they play Chicago twice in Vancouver, teams that have been eliminated. They also have to play Edmonton and Anaheim fairly soon here, and in back-to-back games. They're home against Edmonton, and then they play at Anaheim. And then they finish the game with another back-to-back at Chicago and at Winnipeg. Didn't I just say somebody else did that? Yeah. Oh, no, San Jose. That's the same team, just in a different spot on the paper. That's why it sounded familiar. St. Louis has got to play Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Colorado, Winnipeg, Utah. Down in Seattle. Seattle's got 7 games left, the most. It's same as the Sharks, but they play Winnipeg, Minnesota, Vegas, Calgary, the Kings, Vegas again, and Colorado. So they play Vegas twice. I don't know. I think Seattle having a chance is a stretch. Winnipeg at 78 points, 3 points behind Washington, behind Nashville and the Kings, with 6 games remaining. Not impossible. This color is awful on this computer. That color was fine on the other computer, but on this computer it shows up too dark. Seattle, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Vegas. No idea. So Winnipeg, that color is hard to read. Utah. Okay. Utah and San Jose. So it's getting exciting here. Okay, so that kind of goes through the playoff, maybe a little too much here. And boy. And so then let's take a quick break, and then we'll talk about tonight's game. Yeah, so having gone through having gone through the playoff position, this should be a lot easier. The Kings are 4th in the Pacific Division, 81 points at home. They're 12, 17, and 9. This is the 5th game of their 7-game homestand. They're 2-1-1 in it, continuing their string of a lot of extra time games. They lost to Utah 2-6. They beat St. Louis in overtime 2-1. Lost to Nashville in a shootout 4-5, and beat Toronto in overtime 7-6. Again, they've got Nashville tonight, Thursday Vancouver, and Saturday Edmonton. Then they finish with 3 games on the road: Seattle, Vancouver, and Calgary. This is the last of 3 in the series, and the last in LA, last of 2. LA is a 0-2, having lost in a shootout in Nashville back in October, and then a shootout a few days ago in LA. Last year, 2 of the games went to overtime. One the Kings lost and one they won, and then they won the other one in regular time. So the Kings were 2 of 3 last year. And hopefully the Preds will sweep this series. Samuel Helenius did come back, number 79 center. He was back in the game with Nashville and played against Toronto, so he's returned. He had been day-to-day. Expected back on the 4th, but came back on the, what would that have been, the 2nd? So good for him. Always good to see people come back off. Missing from the lineup, number 96, left wing Andrei Kuzmenko, and number 22, left wing Kevin Fiala. Both of those still have significant numbers. For the Preds, 5th in the Central, 81 points. On the road, now they are even at 16, 16, and 6. It's the 4th of a 6 game, or a 3rd of a 5th, depending on how you look at it. They're 2-1-0 on this road trip. They lost to Tampa Bay 2-3, had a few days off, then won in a shootout 5-4 to LA with LA, and then beat San Jose Saturday 6-3. Next up is Anaheim tomorrow night, and then Thursday, Utah. So this is the front end of a back-to-back for the Preds tonight. Neither of the other teams are involved in backs-to-backs, and then they'll finish the season with 3: Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim, all at home. Nicholas Hague is injured, and he is expected back. He's not expected back versus Sharks. He did return versus the Sharks. He played in the third period. He got the shorthanded goal. Saying he's back, could be back today. I guess we'll see whether he plays or not. And then no new transactions. The Kings did have 3 signings, but they were all minor league players, so I chose to skip that. One thing I tend not to skip real quick here is my energy. I love to have my energy. 100 milligrams of caffeine, 10 grams of protein, no junk. What could I be talking about? That's right, Quantum Energy Squares. QuantumSquares.com, Preds Pro, gets you 25% off. And then it is a little cold here in the studio today. Could have had a blanket in here, but probably would have gotten too hot. But Cozy Earth probably got some nice blankets. I wouldn't know, haven't bought anything from them. But Preds Pro gets you 21% off. And Softness after every splash. There you go. Shop the look. Bubble Cuddle Blanket. I could have had one of those Bubble Cuddle blankets. $228, but 21% off with the code PredsPro. Nice selection of colors there. And so there you go. PredsPro at quantumsquares.com, cozyearth.com. So let's take a look at some stats. Right. So the Preds are on the hunt. They're away. Don't read those home stats. Yes, so the Preds now 7-2-3 when they get the first goal. Got the first goal in the last 2 games. So what that makes 12 times out of 38 games, not quite a third. They have gotten the first goal on the road. Might want to take a look at something here because it seems like they've kind of turned things around. I have to figure out what date to start looking at. But 7-2-3 when they get the first goal, 9-14-3 when they don't. The first period looking, playing better, but overall not very good. 8-16-14 when they get the first goal. They have not lost the first period, 6-0-6. When they do not get the first goal, they have won it. They're 2-16-8, but still not a very good record. In the second period on the road, they are 11-15-12. So starting to rack up a little bit more defeats in the second period, which I don't like. When they got the first goal, they're 4-7-1 in the second period. They didn't get it. They're 7-8-11, both losing records. And then in the third period, 13-12-13. 13-12-13. And that's the Chicago song about that, isn't it? First goal is 4-4-4. So flip your coin. If they didn't get the first goal, 9-8-9. And so what really matters is how that translates to wins and losses. So taking a look at that, the first period, winning the first period 8 times, they're now 5-3. 5-3. Somehow I don't think I said 8. I did say 8. Wow. I'm used to 6. Anyway, yeah, two first period wins changes all that. So they're 5-3 when they win the first period now, 3-13 when they lose it, and 8-6 when they tie. So yeah, tie win. Okay, I can go with that. Second period, 7-4 when they win, 5-10 when they lose, and 4-8 if they tie. So the only record I like there is when they win the second period. So I like winning. Third period, when they win, 9-14. When they lose it, 1-11. And when they tie it, 6-7. So again, the best record is in tying the third period. So let's take a look at the combinatorics here. In the first period, we're kind of liking the win or tie, which is surprising. So just to cover losing before we talk about something else. If they lose the first and win the second, they do have some redemption. They're 2-1 in those. Losing or tying the second period after losing the first period is not a good scenario. They have not won a game yet when they have lost the first and lost the second on the road. And they've only won 1 game when they have lost the first and tied the second, and that is the most common scenario. 8 times out of 38 games, they've lost the first and tied the second. So that doesn't look good. So I do not like losing the first period. Not too many good scenarios there. Like I said, if they lose the first and win the second, they've got a 67% chance of redeeming themselves. But that's so few data points, right? We can take care of winning the first. Pretty easy, too, because they have not won the first and tied the second, so scratch that. And winning the first and winning the second's only happened once, and they won that game. So when the first lose the second, they are 4-1-2, winning record. But like I said, don't like losing the second period, and they don't have a very good record, 5-10 when they lose the second period, but there are those 5 wins, right? Tying the first. Winning the second has happened 7 times, which is the second most occurrence. Of course, which is interesting. Both scenarios where they has occurred 7 times, they're 4-1-2. So tie the first and win the second, 4-1-2. Win the first and lose the second, 4-1-2. Yeah, so tie the first, win. If they tie the first and lose the second, they're 1-2, which is not great. But if they tie the first and tie the second, they are 3-1-0. So there is hope there. Looking at the combinatorics between the second and the third, primarily I like winning the second. Although there was a decent data point down here when they lost the second, but they had to win the first. So let's take a quick look at that. Losing the second, if they win the third, they're 3-2. And so it's not the best. And then every other scenario, losing or tying the third period after losing the second doesn't work out very well. The distribution between these 9 is fairly interesting. It's all between 3 and 6. The 9 scenarios between the first and the second range from 0 to 8. But the combinatorics between the second and the third, a lot tighter, 3 to 6. Losing the third, there's nothing good there. There's 1 win, but that's out of 12 games. And three overtime losses. So that losing the third period doesn't really have that good of ramifications. Tying the third only works if they win the second. So your combinatorics aren't looking very good. The combinatorics look great if they win the third. If they win the third, they could have won, lost, or tied the second. Other than that, other than winning the third, the only winning record is winning the second, tying the third. So, really like that, winning the second period. And, so winning the second period, and that is all of the combinatorics. So that takes us to goal scoring. Goal scoring on the road, 38 games have played on the road, and the Preds now, they got the win, that was 6-3, right? So the winning goal was in the third period against the Sharks and was in the shootout against the Kings. So 44% of the time, the Preds are getting the winning goal in the third period. That's 64% of the regulation wins. The highest regulation win for overall is the third period as well, but that's only 48%, 13 in the third, 10 in the second. That's interesting because 8 times the game has been settled in overtime and 3 in a shootout. So that's 11 extra time games out of 38. I wonder if that's true. I wonder if the number of extra time games has been is higher this season than others. Not sure about that. The road team winning. It's kind of interesting here. Earlier in the season, there was a big gap between the home team winning and the road team winning. Now the gap is only 3. The home team has won 37 times and the road team 34. Of course, the Preds are on the road and won a couple of games, and so their road record getting a little bit better. So, they're even. So that's kind of fun. The winning goal primarily being scored in the third period by either the home team or the road team, 14 and 12, roughly about 35% of the time, followed closely by the second, which is not really a surprise. Home team winning more in a shootout than overtime, so that's kind of interesting. And it swaps. The road team seems to be winning in overtime more than a shootout. Kind of interesting. They go to extra time. Seems like the road team has a better chance in overtime than the home team. Have to keep that in mind for the future. As far as goal scoring for the Preds, we've talked about this. Their goal scoring in the first period, closing the gap, it's down to 14 now. The opposition scoring 50% more goals in the first period than the Preds. 29 to 43. Preds do have an advantage in the games that they win, 20 to 16. So just a slim advantage there. The opposition scoring three goals to the Preds 1 in games in which they lose in the first period. Second period, there is a 4-goal gap. They're being outscored by 4. Games that they win, they're outscoring their opponents 20-14, and games that they lose, they're being outscored 13-23. They now have a 1-goal advantage in the third period, 45-44. And that's heavily weighted towards the team that wins the game. 24-10 if the Preds win, 21-34 if they lose. And on now the Kings got another empty net goal, so now they have 8. So they're outscoring their opponent 16-10 without the empty nets in the third period, being outscored 27-21. Overall, there's no empty net goal the other night is the differential between scoring. So overall in the third period, without empty nets, both teams are scoring the same number of goals. Looking at I had another idea. Looking at the difference in scoring coming into the second period and third period, winning, tied, and losing, the Preds are okay. So away, right. So most frequently, but close, the Preds are coming into the second period 16 times losing. They've been outscored 15-12, and those 16 games, their eventual record 3-11-2. Not very good. 2-11 in regulation, 1-2 in extra time. Of those 16 games, how that translates to moving into the third period, twice they went into the third period winning. They have not gone from losing to being tied, and then 14 of the 16 times, they went from losing in the second period to losing in the third. I need to extrapolate that to the third period, how those went out. The second to third. That would be kind of interesting. Because that's 16 times they came into the second period losing, but they've come into the third period losing 19 times. So 14 times they had been losing, came into the second period losing, 3 times tied, twice winning. So interested to see how, that wind up the eventual records there. They only won one of those games, so I don't think diving out that stat is necessarily going to look that interesting. But we'll try to remember to do that and go from there. Coming into the second period tied has happened 14 times, and they've outscored their opponents 18-10. Again, I do like that scenario. I hate to pull for a tie in the first period, but and the last couple of ones they didn't tie and won. So but we'll get to that. But they've outscored their opponents 18-10, and those games, their eventual record 8-4-2, 6-4 in regulation, 2-2 in extra time. And of those 14 games, 7 times they went to the third period winning. So they came into the second period tied. 7 times they go into it winning. 4 times they go into it tied, and 3 times they went into it losing. The remaining games, 8. Coming to the second period winning, the Preds have been outscored 12-3. 12-3 in the 8 games that they come into the second period losing. They just don't really seem to be able to maintain that momentum. Those 3 goals were all in wins. They did not score in any of the games which they lost. Their eventual record is 5-1-2. Which is a decent record, 3-1 in regulation, 2-2 in overtime. The stats coming in tied just look so much better. Those 8 times coming into the second period winning, 8 times, 4 times they did go to the third period winning. Twice they went to the third period tied, and twice they went to the third period losing. Looking at the third period, the most frequent thing is to come into the third period losing 19 times, And they are even, being scored 25-25. The opposition has 7 empty net goals. The Preds have 1. So they're actually outscoring their opponents 24-18 in those 19 games. Unfortunately, their eventual record 3-14-2, 1-14 in regulation, 2-2 in extra time. So that doesn't look very good. Coming into the third period, winning is the second most common thing, thankfully. That's happened 13 times, and the Preds are even in scoring at 14, but they have 7 empty net goals, so they're actually being outscored 14-7 when they come into the third period winning in those 13 games, 14-7. Their eventual record, good, 9-1-3. So even though they didn't score, they maintained that advantage, which is, I guess, what in the end really counts. 8-1 in regulation, 1-3 in extra time. 1-3 in extra time. I think that was the Kings game, that one win. And then when they come into the third period tied, that's happened 6 times. They've outscored their opponents 6-5. No empty net goals. Eventual record 4-1-1. 4-1-1. 2-1 in regulation, 2-1 in extra time. So that is your goal scoring. I think that's everything for goal scoring. Yeah. Takes us to matchups. All right, so talk about goal scoring. We talk about goal scoring and matchup. The Preds are on the road, which means the Kings are at home. And none of this worked out the other night. No prediction, got it all wrong. Not surprised, happens all the time. But let's go through it. The Kings per game, let's see. Start out by saying both teams have played 38 games. The Kings 38 at home, Preds 38 at the road, and the numbers of above, same, and below are right about the same. 13 teams have played more. 14 teams have played the same as the King. 13 is the Preds, so 4 have played less than the Kings and 5 than the Preds. So no. This time of the year, everything's really tightening up as far as how many times people have played at home. So the Kings are 29th in the league in scoring at home, 2.61 goals a game with the league average 3.15, so about half a goal below average. 29th in the first, 0.68, league average 0.9. 31st in the second, 0.82, league average 1.08. 21st in the third, 1.03. So, goal scoring not, 1.03 gets close to average. So their scoring in each period is below average, not against the Kings the other night. But goals against, they're 9th in the league, 3.18 goals against, league average 3.02. Not the first period, 28th, 0.74, league average 0.86. 12th in the second period, 1.05, league average 1.01. And 5th in the third period, 1.26, league average 1.07. So they're above average in the second and third and below average in the first. The Preds scoring 2.89 goals a game on the road. League average is 3.02. The first period, not where they're scoring, 21st. Yeah, 21st. Yeah, a lot of goals lately, but that doesn't make up for the average. I mean, we got 38 games under our belt, so scoring 3 the other night in the first period isn't going to raise the average up very much, but it sure feels good. 21st, 0.76. League average is 0.86. They go up. They decrease to 27th in the league, even though their scoring goes up because scoring goes up. For road teams, scoring goes up between the first and the second by 16%, but not for the Preds. Preds 26 goals in the first and 31 in the second. Well, that's more than 16%, right? 5 goes up 5 goals out of 25, which is about a little less than 20%. And then in the third period, they are 8th in the league, 1.18, league average 1.07. So they are good at scoring in the third period, and the Kings give up in the third period. They don't give them up in the second. And of course, the Preds, not very good at scoring, but they don't really give up goals in the first, but that's when the Preds scored the other night. But let's keep going. How are the Preds goals against? They're ninth in the league being scored on, just like the Kings. 3.39 goals a game, 3.15 league average. They are one of the top teams to be scored on in the first period, 1.13. That's third in the league average 0.9. 22nd in the second, 0.97, league average 1.08. And then 11th in the third, 1.16, league average 1.09. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, the Kings are below average in scoring in all their periods. But that's how that shakes out. And so what about special teams? So the Preds are on the road, so the Kings are at home. So the Kings are 29th in the league on the penalty kill, 72.6%, 29 goals against on 106 opportunities. They have scored 2 shorthanded goals. As far as opportunities go, times per games played that they're shorthanded are 13th. Goals against per games played, though, they're second. So 13th in opportunities and second in being scored on. That's why they're 29th in the league. As far as the Preds penalty kill, 13th in the league, 80.5%, 22 goals against on 113 opportunities, so 7 less goals on 7 more opportunities, and they've scored 3 shorthanded goals. Time shorthanded per games played is league average, 17th. Did not look like that in the San Jose game, but let's keep going. Goals against per games played is also 17th, so 17th in opportunities, 17th in being scored on. So that number's been trending in the right direction. And takes us to power play. Kings power play, not very good. 24th in the league, 16.8%, 19 goals for on 113 opportunities to compare against their penalty kill. They've given up 10 more goals on 7 less opportunities. And they have given up 7 short-handed goals. So they've scored 19 goals on their power plays and given up 7. Power play per games played, I guess roughly league average, 16th. Goals for per games played, 23rd. So opportunities, 16th. And conversion, 23rd. So not a very good power play, not a very good penalty kill. And then the Preds power play, 16th in the league, 20.9%, 23 goals for on 110 opportunities. So they have 4 more goals on 3 less opportunities and only 1 short-handed goal. Power play per games played, 11th, so slightly higher than average. Goals for per games played, 12th, so at least it's close. So the Preds penalty kill is pretty average. And power play pretty average. So let's take a quick look at my numbers. The Preds penalty kill on the road in the first period, 35%, pretty good, 10% in the second period, and 15% in the third. So definitely like it when they get the power play in the first period. They give up more penalties in the first period and more goals likewise. So 23% for the opposition in the first, 18 in the second, and 14 in the third. So the Preds are 35, 10, and 15. The power play conversion on the road, not expected in the other, not expected in the second or third penalty periods. So that is your matchup, special teams, and that takes us to people to watch. Right. So I just played the Kings the other night, so none of this should seem all that different. Do have a different name. Actually, so do have a different name. Top of the list, number 9, right wing Adrian Kempe, first in goals, first in assists, first in points, first in shots. And then we get Kevin Fiala and Kuzmenko. Both of those players are injured, but they are second on the team in goal scoring with 10. And Kuzminko's only been out a couple of games, but Fiala's been out since February, and he's still second in goal scoring at home. Second in assists is number 92 defenseman Brandt Clark with 14. He's second on the team in points with 20. Tied at 20 in points is Fiala still. So Fiala hasn't played since the middle of February, and he's still second on the team in points and second in goals. Quentin Byfield has now moved up into a tie with Clark and Fiala for points. He's got 20 points. Didn't mention him the other day. Number 55 right wing Quentin Byfield. One of the hot players for the Kings, somebody that's going to hopefully be with them for a while and develop with Kopitar going out. He's one of the guys they really expect to start producing. And probably good timing, too. He's been with the team for a few years now. Remember when he got drafted. Always been a hot prospect, and, we'll see how his career develops over time. Especially with Kopitar going out. And then they made that other trade, that Dassault and Perry. They'd gotten a couple other guys to fill in and support Kopitar, but now Kopitar's leaving, and now they got Panarin too. But Byfield, I think moving in the future will be somebody that we'll be talking about a lot more. Leading the team in ice time is number 8 defenseman Drew Doughty. I did look it up. He has been with the Kings for 18 years. He's 36, leads the team in ice time still, 22:56. And second in ice team is number 10 left wing Artemi Panarin, one of the acquisitions around the pause. 21:46 ice time for him. Second on the team in shots is number 14 right wing Alex Laferriere with 101. Kuzminko is the only player on the team with a shooting percentage over 20%, but who cares? He's not going to be in the game. And then, second, also now tied with 14 assists, second on the team, number 11, Captain Andrei Kopitar. Saw the video of the ceremony for him before the Preds game the other night, honoring him, and really something else. Really enjoyed watching that. Kudos out to the Kings organization for doing that. I do miss Bob Miller doing it. No disrespect to Nick Nixon, but he just sounds angry. I was commenting on that to Prudence. I'm like, I like Nick Nixon, and he does a really good job, been with the Predators for a long time. But when he's doing those ceremonial things, he just to me just sounds angry. So maybe find a little lilt in your voice. But anyway. Anyway. There you go. Kopitar also leads the team in plus minus with 8. Got a 3-point advantage there. But I like my Kopitar. You got to like Kopitar. Good guy. Funny story. Well, we used to stalk all the Kings players when we knew where a number of them lived. Doughty lived down in Hermosa Beach, but Kopitar lived fairly near where we lived, down in Manhattan Beach, and we would go walk by. And Justin Williams had a house nearby there. A couple other players had houses that were kind of near Kopitar's too. And so when we'd come back to L.A., we'd just walk by the houses. Saw his dog out once. But wasn't the funny story. I guess one of the things that endeared Kopitar to Prudence was the story about how he would have his grandmother practice interviewing him in English when he was growing up, because he wanted to be comfortable talking in English and getting used to being interviewed. And one of those things that everybody that makes it big's got some story, and everybody that doesn't make it big, you've got your stories, and that's just one of the cute little stories about Kopitar that Prudence always liked. There you go. I mean, I hope he has a productive life and happy life outside of hockey. But as far as the game goes tonight for Nashville, number 9 left wing Philip Forsberg leads the team in goals with 17, leads in points, leads in shots. Number 91 center Steven Stamkos now second on the team in goals with 15. We've got our Mr. Statman, number 90 center Ryan O'Reilly, third in goals with 11, second in assists with 20, leads the team in points with 31, tied with Forsberg at 31. He's third in ice time, 2023, so he's the forward on the ice the most. Leading the team in assists is number 77, right wing Luke Evangelista. And now, second on the team in shots with 93 is the captain, number 59 defenseman Roman Josi, leads the team in ice time, 25-32. 25-32 doesn't sound, 25-32 sounds too much. That just doesn't sound right. There's got to be a typo in there. Just take a quick look here because that just does not sound right. That is 25-32. I don't know why that didn't sound right, but 25-32. I think it is one of the higher ones in the league. And I can't say that I've looked at that, but I think, I think Josi is in the top 10 on ice time, just in general and in specific, with regards to on the road or at home. I thought they had ice time by season skaters. There it is. Time on ice. Yeah. So Josi is fifth in the league in ice time, and that's just overall. If we just take a look at the road numbers, I'm sure it's probably exactly the same or fairly close. He's fifth. He's fifth in ice time in the league with 25-33. Quinn Hughes leads everybody, 27-31. But anyway, he's not playing. We don't care. Moving on, 3 players over 20% in shooting percentage, 2 of them right at 20, but they're not. That's second. Leading the team in shooting percentage is number 85, defenseman Ryan Ufko. 1 goal on 3 shots, 33%. Then Joakim Kamel, 1 goal on 5 shots now for 20%. Number 25, right wing Joakim Kamel, I think they said. Or I thought I heard Joachim. Somebody pronounced it Joachim. So I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Probably either one of them right. One name I'm pretty sure I am pronouncing right is Matthew Wood, number 71, right wing. Third on the team in goals with 11 and second on the team in shooting percentage, 20%. So 11 goals on 55 shots. As far as momentum goes, the Kings are not a good home team, 12, 17, and 9. The last 5 games, they've been alternating wins and losses, and they're 4-2 and 4 in their last 10. They've kind of got to get on their stick if they think they are going to make the playoffs. And tonight is not the game for them to do it. They can do it against Vancouver and Edmonton. They really need to beat Edmonton. I'd love to see that. That's Saturday in the afternoon. Excuse me. They are 2-1-1 in this homestand, 0-1-1 in their last homestand, 10-9-4 against the Central, evenly split between home and road. At home, they're 5-5-1 now. They have beaten Winnipeg, Chicago, Minnesota twice, and St. Louis. Losses include 2 to Colorado, Chicago, Dallas, and Utah all once, and overtime loss to the Kings the other night. Of course, that was in a shootout. So, the Preds, 2-game winning streak on the road, 16-16-6, 7-3-0 in their last 10, 2-1-0 on this road trip, 2-0 if you just consider it being a 5-game road trip, which maybe I ought to get on that bandstand. They are in a back-to-back situation. We'll get to that in a second. They are 13-5-2 against the Pacific. On the road, they're 5-4-1, 4-4 in regulation, 1-1 in a shootout. None of these games been determined in overtime. But that doesn't add up. 5-4-1. Yeah. 5-4-1 against the Pacific on the road. As far as the Preds go, they are on the road in a back-to-back situation. They are even in back-to-back games, 12-12. On the road, they are also 6-6. On the road, on the front half of the games, they have never lost this season. Yikes, I shouldn't say that. They're 4-0. That's, oh, geez Louise. Before the last couple games, they had not won on the road, but now they're 2-6 in back-to-backs. Of course, tonight are the front half. We'll worry about Anaheim when we get to them. This is the second game against LA in a back-to-back situation. The other circumstance was back in October. They played they played home versus LA and then home versus Dallas, and they beat LA in a shootout in that game. As far as other times, they have been. This is the fourth time that they have been in a back-to-back situation where both games were on the road, and they won the front half of all three. We'll cover the back half later because we're only talking about this half. Let's see. So they beat Ottawa. They beat Ottawa 4-1 in regulation. Saros was in goal back in October. Then in December, they beat Vegas 4-2 with Anunen in goal. And then in January, they beat Colorado 7-3 with Saros in goal. So yeah, Colorado, Vegas, and Ottawa. No slouchy teams there. So yeah, that part of it bodes pretty well for the Kings tonight. So I like that. So there you go. That's your preview. Big game tonight. Tough part of the season. All games seem to be mattering today, which is fun. And so thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.